Hi, and welcome to the third and final episode of this mini-series, Mr. Flip-Flop, the story of Labour's U-turns. This is actually U-turn 13 to 21, because actually it's the last 9, so I'm actually bundling it all into one episode to save doing a 6 and a 3. So, without further ado, I'm going to crack on and get these last 9 U-turns done for you. So, at number 13 was the two-tier justice guidelines. So, in March 2025, the Sentencing Council proposed absurd guidelines that would have handed harsher sentences to people based on their ethnicity, religion, sex, culture, background. The Conservatives immediately highlight how damaging this would be, and would be forced the government into another U-turn, and the guidelines were then suspended. And then obviously we go on to social media restrictions for those under 16, which is number 14. So after Kemi announced the Conservatives would restrict social media to those aged 16 and over, Labour announced a consultation of their own into this proposal. So obviously that was it being U-turned. And then obviously cancelling the local elections. Obviously in January 2026, Labour shamefully attempted to cancel elections in 30 areas due to take place in May. But like nearly every decision the Prime Minister makes, he U-turned on it. This time, after just 25 days, this is predictable chaos from a useless government that cannot make basic decisions. And we all know why it was U-turned on, because Reform took them to court. And before it got to court, because he didn't want the embarrassment of the court going, you're going to have to U-turn on this, mate. He did it himself because he knew what the decision was going to be. So we got them back on track. So it was Reform did that one. 100% us, 100% Nigel. So thank you, Nigel, for getting all these back on track. And then obviously deleting court transcripts in at number 16. So that was David Lammy wanted to delete thousands of trial transcripts from court desks, typical Lammy, including transcripts which were vital to exposing the shameful activities of grooming gangs here in the UK, and Labour have opened negotiations for a new licence to be agreed with court desks to preserve these vital court records. Well, so they should be kept, because we need to expose these vile gangs, because we need to know who they are and lock them all up, even if it is the whole of the Muslim Brotherhood. They all need to go. And obviously puberty blockers trial blocked. So obviously Wes Streeting wanted to subject 200 children to a dangerous medical trial, which would have put some on a medical pathway to sterilisation. Working with brave campaigners like Keira Bell, the Conservatives forced a pause to this dangerous trial. Our message clear: no child is born in the wrong body, and I agree with that, because there's two sexes, male, female. That is it. You can't have all these other weird sexes. And yes, we know the Greens are pushing it with all these transgender, non-binary, and you can be a furry, a cat at school, and poo in a litter box. No, that's just stupid. And these schools shouldn't be bowing down to it. It needs to be put an end to. And then obviously you've had post offices saved in number 18. So that is in August 2025, Labour launched a consultation on closing post office branches after over 180,000 petition signatures and extensive campaigning. They were U-turned and committed by keeping the number of branches at 11,500. So at least there was something done there. Then we go on to the last three, which is the Mandelson files, which is always a big one because there seems to be more coming out about that all the time. Which is, so the first set of Mandelson files have been released after Conservative pressure in Parliament proving that Starmer knew about Mandelson and Epstein connections, which was always clear as day because a lot of us have always said he knew, but he kept denying it, and we know Mandelson should never have been appointed US ambassador. It was just sick and wrong. We're still pushing for full disclosure around the shambolic appointment. Every email, every note, every message, the British public deserve to know the truth. Correct. And obviously, I still think Mandelson should be behind bars. He shouldn't be walking free at this point. He should be behind bars. He shouldn't be a free man. But, you know, you get different treatment when you're in certain circles. British bases U-turn number 20, indecisive in a crisis. So Keir Starmer's initially refused to let the Americans use our bases for their attacks in Iran. After 3 weeks, he U-turned. Our relationship with the Americans has been damaged until Starmer is gone, basically. So his authority has been completely nil and voided. It's another example of Starmer's weak leadership because he doesn't have a spine, well, not that he ever had one, which the country cannot afford in these uncertain times, because obviously Russia could attack tomorrow and they wouldn't have the fear of him being here. We need to get rid of Starmer because he ain't a leader, he ain't patriotic, he doesn't give a rat's about us, he only cares about the EU. He's a globalist. And that's not what we want in this country. And then you got the Chagos surrender deal scrapped. So thanks to the Conservative pressure, it's also down to Nigel's pressure on this, has finally backed down and axed the Chagos surrender deal. A deal that would have given up strategic territory and had the British taxpayer pay $35 billion for the privilege. While he may have backed down for now, Starmer is still working to get this deal past the Americans to undermine the British interests. But I still think he's going to have a lot of fight on his hands with Trump, because Trump doesn't want it to go through, because it's a major base that we need access to, the Americans need access to. Keir Starmer just doesn't have a brain upstairs. And then you'll flog off Gibraltar, he'll flog off the Falklands. Again, why should we lose all our territory because he's woke and doesn't care about the British Isles? He doesn't care about what is ours. We fought for this, and it's what is ours. He's an idiot and he needs to go. And if he doesn't, we're screwed. So I say there's only one party that can come in and rescue us, and that's Reform UK. Because we have a solid plan to sort this mess out. Yes, it's not going to be fixed overnight, nothing can be. But we will do our best to sort it. And even if it takes 2 terms, we will get it sorted. But again, thanks for watching Mr. Flip Flop, the story of Labour's U-turns. I'll try and bring you another story soon. Thank you, goodbye.